Spiny pollen from plants in the sunflower family reduces infection of a common bee parasite by 81 to 94% and markedly increases the production of queen bumblebees. This new research provides much-needed food for thought in one of the most perplexing problems confronting biologists and ecologists: how to reverse the global pollinator die-off. Insect pollinators, the flying, buzzing, flitting bugs that help fertilize everything from blueberries to coffee, contribute up to $200 billion in annual ecosystem services globally. We depend on them for diverse, healthy, nutritious diets. But many pollinators are suffering an unprecedented decline, due to the widespread use of pesticides, habitat loss and other causes. And scientists around the world are working diligently to figure out how to fight the apocalypse. One of the major breakthroughs in helping pollinators, particularly bees, has been the discovery that certain flower species can help pollinators resist disease infections, and that sunflowers are especially effective at combating a common pathogen, Crithidia bombi, which lives in a bee's gut. But until now, no one knew why sunflowers were so effective at fighting this pathogen, or whether other flowers in the sunflower family had similar pathogen-fighting abilities. To discover how sunflowers help bumblebees withstand C. bombi, University of Massachusetts Amherst's Laura Figueroa and her team devised an experiment that hinged on separating out the pollen's spiny outer shell from the chemical metabolites in the pollen's core. They then added the chemistry-free spiny sunflower shell to the pollen fed to one group of bees, while another group received wildflower pollen sprinkled with sunflower metabolites but no sunflower shells. They discovered that bees consuming spiny sunflower pollen shells had the same response as bees consuming whole sunflower pollen and suffered 87% fewer C. bombi infections than bees consuming sunflower metabolites. But that's not all. Bees fed pollen from ragweed, cocklebur, dandelion and dog fennel, all members of the sunflower family and with similarly spiny pollen shells, had low rates of C. bombi infection similar to the bees who ate sunflower pollen, which raises the possibility that such disease-fighting medicinal effects may be common to plants in the sunflower family. One of the most surprising aspects of the new research is that sunflower pollen is not particularly nutritious, as it is low in protein. And while the pollen may be excellent at protecting bumblebees from a gut pathogen such as C. bombi, it would be of little use in feeding bumblebees sunflowers and related plants if malnutrition ensued. It's no good curing the common cold if you starve the patient. You need to look at the community level, as well as what's happening in bees' guts, to know how to help them respond to stressful environments, says senior author of the paper Lynn Adler. A colony's health can be measured by the number of queens it produces, as queens are how bumblebee colonies pass on their genes to the next generation. And queens are not born, but rather raised. Colonies utilize the gathered food resources to transform a small number of bee larvae into daughter queens. As soon as the cold weather arrives, every worker and the old queen will perish. The only surviving bees are the new queen offspring. They will produce an entirely new colony in the spring if they survive the winter. The greater the number of queens a colony produces, the more likely it is that its genes will be passed down through many generations of bees. To test the impact of sunflowers on colony health, Adler and her team placed commercial colonies of bumblebees on 20 different farms in western Massachusetts, which grew varying amounts of sunflowers. Over the course of several weeks, the team sampled the pathogens collecting in their bees' guts, weighed the colonies to determine whether or not they were thriving, and counted the number of daughter queens. What they discovered is that infection decreased as sunflower abundance increased, and perhaps more importantly, queen bee production increased by 30% for each order of magnitude increase in sunflower pollen availability. Though there's more research to be done into exactly why sunflower pollen benefits queen bees, it's exciting to know that sunflowers not only reduce disease, but positively affect reproduction. The authors point out that this research does not represent a solution to the insect apocalypse. This research was conducted using just one common species of bumblebees, which is not endangered. More research needs to be done into how sunflower pollen affects other bumblebee species that are threatened.